Probably the biggest mistake is not having enough capital to start the operation. So you go in and thinking, maybe I need $200,000 so I can get my space and bring somebody in and start to hire some of the outsourced providers and deal with a lot of that stuff. And then you wind up looking, and all of a sudden you need 3, 4, 500,000. And that makes you maybe not do the things you need to do, so you put off things. But a lot of those things are important to have in place when you're fundraising. So a big mistake is not realizing how much capital you're going to need to really get the business off the ground. Another one is not being able to justify and go back to your attribution in terms of the deals you've done in the past. A lot of people will come out of different operations and say, hey, I was responsible for these deals. But if the LPs, reach out to the other firm and say, hey, can you give us confirmation on that? They may not give it. And a lot of firms may not allow the people that leave, even though they were responsible for a deal, to report that attribution as they go out to market. So they don't want that information out there. So that's the second thing that could really be a problem. You really need to hire an attorney that's familiar with the industry and is known in the industry, because they'll know everything that's going on. They'll know kind of what's out there on the marketing end, whether or not what you're looking to do on your fees and expenses makes sense with what's going on in the market and what people are able to fundraise on, so they can help you with that. They'll draft up the documents properly and cover everything that you need to make sure that you're protected and you can go to market with a good PPM and a good LP. It's funny because when we have these conversations with the GPs, they're not even thinking of those type of things. So there's things like D&O insurance, directors and officers, errors and omission, a lot of different insurances around the deals they do, just to protect them in case there's an issue and something doesn't go right and they wind up having lawsuits, so things that can protect them against that. Even insurance regarding internal issues. Maybe somebody gets terminated and you get sued for wrongful termination. You'll have insurance that'll cover that. So there's a lot of different insurances that, again, they've never set up a business. They've been doing deals and they're not looking at those pieces specifically. So having all that in place and knowing that those are things you need to have are important. Could even be disaster recovery insurance. So if you have something go wrong with your data, being able to get that back. And that's something that they don't really think about because they're just trying to run the business and deal with those things. And that's something that Withum does really well, is we talk to them about helping them set up their office, talk to them about the things they need to have, but also talk to them about certain tax things they can do. So there's certain estate planning they can do with either their investment in the fund itself or maybe their carried interest. So there's certain trusts that can be set up, such as a grantor annuity trust, typically called the GRAT. There's a couple of other trusts, there's a family limited partnership that could be set up, and those could take some dollars out of the estate down the road. So what you're trying to do is put assets that aren't really valued highly right at the start of the fund to assets that could be worth a lot of money down the road, whether it's the fund itself and the LP interest or even the carry that could be large. So you're able to do some tax savings that way on your estate and maybe build some wealth into your children or their children down the road. So there's a lot of things that you can do with that.